So YouTube, it's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, two-time heavyweight unified world champion British superstar boxer Anthony Joshua, well, he accepts the offer made by legendary, retired, former 50-0, iconic, superstar, Hall of Fame, Floyd Money Mayweather Jr. Floyd Mayweather, he recently stated that, he wanted to lend his services to Anthony Joshua, help him in training camp and help him prepare for two-time undefeated heavyweight world champion, fellow countryman, British superstar boxer Tyson the Gypsy King Fury in the undisputed match. So with that said, Floyd Mayweather said he would welcome the idea of helping Anthony Joshua train and prepare for a showdown with Tyson Fury. Now, Anthony Joshua, he has responded and he says he would gladly welcome the opportunity to train with Floyd Mayweather. He would gladly accept Floyd Mayweather come in and give him a hand and help him, assist him in this fight with Tyson Fury. We know that it's being reported by legendary promoter, Queensberry Promotions CEO and promoter, Frank Warren. Frank Warren stated that, he don't see the fight between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua coming to fruition, seeing as though Tyson Fury, has been out the ring for so long, and the Anthony Joshua fight may not take place until late August, early September. And then he stated maybe even October. He said, and seeing as though the Olympics starts in July, and Rob McCracken, Anthony Joshua's trainer, is the head trainer for the British Olympic team, the United Kingdom Olympic team, he stated that he has a hard time seeing, that fight coming to fruition. He said unless Rob McCracken chooses to train Anthony Joshua and not the Olympic team, or to train the Olympic team and not Anthony Joshua, he stated because in July, the Olympics start, and in July is when they're talking about the fight taking place. Now, Tyson Fury, he hasn't fought since his last fight with Deontay Wilder, former Olympic bronze medalist, former WBC heavyweight American world champion superstar boxer, and that took place in February of 2020. So he's been out the ring for quite some time. So with that said, this is interesting because one has to wonder, would Floyd Mayweather take over for Rob McCracken if Rob McCracken decides that he's going to go and indeed, train the Olympic team? What's more important, right? Or are they just going to simply push the fight back and make it more convenient for everybody involved, seeing as though the investment group are also stating that they would much rather push the fight back to a later date because they want the amount of money that's being asked for Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. They want to replace that money and have get a return on their investment, and pushing it back to later on in the year would more assure that you will have fans in attendance to bring in that revenue to replace the return on the investment, for them to see a return on the investment. So they would much rather have that take place as well. And if this is the case, I'm hard pressed to see Rob McCracken, take the Olympic team over Anthony Joshua. This is the biggest fight in United Kingdom history should it come to fruition. Now, obviously, Tyson Fury, he's still in arbitration with Deontay Wilder. He was in mediation. Now they're still in arbitration, okay? So there's no guarantees on that end. What's going to be the outcome of that? But with that said, on this side, I'm hard-pressed to see Rob McCracken give up his place. Now, it would be interesting if Floyd Mayweather did come in, because we know Floyd Mayweather's an alpha male, okay? Floyd Mayweather, when he comes in, he is a believer that he knows pretty much everything there is to know about the sport of boxing, seeing though he was trained by his father and uncle, who are world-class boxers. His father, Roger, the late, great Roger Mayweather, was a world champion, and then seeing as though he went 50-0 in his career, he's dedicated to the sport of boxing. He's a boxing brain. He understands the sport. He did also at one point in time offer his services to one Deontay Wilder. He said that, he believes if he trained Deontay Wilder, he would guarantee Deontay Wilder will win the trilogy match with Tyson Fury. They're in arbitration because Tyson Fury is contractually obligated to give Deontay Wilder the trilogy match, and they're trying to maneuver around that. With that said, now Anthony Joshua, he says he will welcome the opportunity to bring Floyd Mayweather in. Now, obviously, like I said, Floyd Mayweather is not going to take a backseat to anybody. So if this is indeed the case, then you can expect Floyd Mayweather to want to take his place at the table. You know, he wants to make a mark. And, you know, he's going to see things in, you know, Anthony Joshua that he feels like he can correct and that needs to be corrected. Obviously, for the fact that he offered his services to Anthony Joshua to begin with, and Anthony Joshua, he only suffered one loss in his entire career. That was the upset loss to Andy Ruiz Jr. back in June 1st of 2019 when he made his debut here in the United States as a professional. He fought here as an amateur. He's never fought here as a professional at Madison Square Garden. He was dropped 4 times and stopped in the 7th round of that fight. So he did come back, you know, later that year, December that year, and he got a unanimous decision against Andrew Ruiz and regained his titles. That's the reason why he's 2-time unified world champion, okay? Floyd Mayweather, he was ringside at his last fight with Kubrat Pulev, which was his IBF mandatory challenger. And Anthony Joshua, he got the victory. He got the stoppage knockout victory over Kubrat Pulev. Floyd Mayweather was in attendance. You know, they embraced one another. And, you know, Floyd Mayweather says that, you know, he would love to train Anthony Joshua. It's interesting because obviously Floyd Mayweather, he is a welterweight, right? He did fight at junior middleweight. He did fight at, you know, featherweight and super featherweight and lightweight. You know, he's a 5-division world champion, okay? So Floyd Mayweather fought at 130, 135, 140, 147, and then 154. He's a world champion in each of those weight classes. So with that said, you know, it's interesting to see what Floyd Mayweather would bring to the table for a guy like Anthony Joshua. Now, a lot of people critique Anthony Joshua's style, his approach. He's very muscular, which seems to be a bit robotic and a bit predictable, but he has a lot of power. He's very technical, doesn't have the quickest feet in the world, but he did show that he can be very mobile in his rematch with Andrew Ruiz Jr. So with that said, you know, Floyd Mayweather, it would be interesting to see what he would bring to the table and what changes he will make with Anthony Joshua. And Anthony Joshua, he said he wants to secure this victory over Tyson Fury. Okay, he said it's important. This is, you know, the last time they had an undisputed United Kingdom, UK, British fight, heavyweight world champion was over 100 years ago, more than 100 years ago, because we know Lennox Lewis, he was an undisputed champion when he defeated Evander Real Deal Holyfield, 2-division undisputed world champion. That was back in 99, okay? And prior to that, you know, it was 100 years leading up into that. But the thing is, a lot of people don't recognize Evander Holyfield as solely being a United Kingdom heavyweight undisputed world champion because he represented 3 different countries. He represented Jamaica, he also represented Canada, and he represented the United Kingdom. Thus the reason why when he fought against Frank Bruno, he said Frank Bruno pushed the narrative that I'm the real Brit, okay? Natural Brit. So with that said, you know, this would be a born British fighter that represents solely the United Kingdom, okay? You have a win-win scenario where Tyson Fury is from the UK and also Anthony Joshua is from the UK, and they don't represent anywhere else but that, okay? At times, Anthony Joshua, he does represent Africa, you know, his roots there, you know, he does acknowledge it, but for the most part, he represents solely the United Kingdom, okay? And so with that said, this is a historic event if it does come to fruition for the United Kingdom, okay? And so thus the reason why they're trying to have Tyson Fury trying their best to have him maneuver around, you know, Deontay Wilder in that trilogy match because it's a high-risk fight. Deontay Wilder at the very best. You can say Tyson Fury will outbox him. Tyson Fury got the stoppage victory, but there's an asterisk by it because a lot of people feel like he had an unfair advantage. You know, but the fact remains is that Deontay Wilder always has a puncher's chance, carrying the highest knockout ratio in the history of the sport of boxing. So you put him in the ring, you run the risk of getting knocked out. He knocked Tyson Fury down twice in the first fight, and it ended in a draw. So with that said, you know, it'll be very, very interesting to see the approach and what nuances and what changes Floyd Mayweather would make for Anthony Joshua. And I'm interested to see how Rob McCracken and Floyd Mayweather will get along, right? How would they coexist with one another, okay? You know, Floyd Mayweather is a you know, he's a huge personality, okay? And, you know, he has a very strong personality, especially when it comes to sport of boxing, in his opinion. You know, so that would be very interesting. Anthony Joshua says he's open to it because he wants to secure this victory. So we got to see how this plays out moving forward. like Frank Warren said, Robin Carrigan, it's a chance he may not be there, but I can't see him missing this opportunity. But also, it's an opportunity also when you coach an Olympic team for your country. So we got to see how this plays out and unfolds. Make sure you hit the like button, drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Raw. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Hey, this is Ebony Bridges, Blonde Bomber, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.